By the age of 40, Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, had spent decades observing humanity, the injustice, the idolatry, the moral decay of Makkah. His heart was restless, his spirit yearning for the truth that no poet, merchant, or tribal leader could provide. Seeking clarity, he withdrew from the bustling city and climbed the solitary heights of Mount Ḥirā. Here, amid the jagged rocks and silent winds, the world below seemed to fade. Nights were long, filled with contemplation, prayer, and reflection on the vastness of Allah's creation. This retreat was not merely physical, it was a spiritual preparation. Alone with the stars, Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, pondered the purpose of existence, the fleeting nature of wealth, and the cries of the oppressed he had witnessed since youth. Scholars note that this period of isolation mirrors the preparation of earlier prophets. Just as Musa, A.S., spent years in reflection before his mission, the future messenger sought to cleanse his heart, free it from distraction, and attune it to the divine will. It was in this quietude, far from the noise of tribal pride and commerce, that the stage for the most monumental event in human history was quietly being set. Even before the first revelation, subtle signs indicated that Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, was chosen. Dreams of truth and guidance. From a young age, he experienced meaningful dreams that were later found to be true. Scholars note that these dreams were a form of divine preparation, giving him glimpses of the future and awakening a spiritual sensitivity. The jinns getting lost. It is narrated that unusual disturbances among jinn occurred near Makkah, and the Prophet's presence seemed to affect unseen realms. These events, though mysterious to ordinary people, indicated the coming of a messenger whose influence would extend even beyond the human world. Spiritual awareness from childhood. Known for his honesty, reflection, and meditative nature, he often contemplated the creation of the heavens and the earth. Natural signs. People noticed unusual phenomena around him, sudden clouds providing shade, calmness during public turmoil, and a gravitas in his presence that drew trust and awe. Inner yearning for truth. Even before being chosen, his heart leaned toward monotheism, justice, and compassion, and he felt the weight of responsibility to guide people toward the truth. These signs, both internal and external, were subtle divine preparations, conditioning Muhammad's heart for the immense responsibility of prophethood. The Qur'an later reflects on this divine preparation. And we did not send before you any messenger, except that we revealed to him that there is no deity except me, so worship me. Surah Al-Anbiya 21:25. Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, was ready. Though unaware of the precise form his mission would take, his soul was attuned to the truth. Every act of worship, every reflection in Mount Ḥirā's solitude, sharpened his receptivity to the coming revelation. It was in the month of Ramadan that everything changed. Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, was alone in the cave of Hira, as he often was, when the night sky seemed to shimmer with a presence unlike any he had ever encountered. Suddenly, the angel Jibrīl, peace be upon him, appeared before him. The Prophet, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, was overwhelmed, yet a calm presence accompanied the terror. Jibrīl commanded, "Read, Iqra." Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, replied, "I am not a reader." He was illiterate, yet the message carried weight beyond human comprehension. Jibrīl embraced him tightly and repeated, "Read in the name of your Lord who created man from a clot. Read, for your Lord is most generous, who taught by the pen, taught man that which he knew not." Surah Al Alaq 96:105. These words marked the beginning of the Qur'anic revelation, a divine communication that would forever change the course of history. The prophet trembled but understood. The truth had arrived, and he had been chosen to bear it. The experience left Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, shaken. He descended Mount Ḥirā, heart racing, unsure of what had transpired. Returning home to Khadijah, may Allah be pleased with her, he recounted the encounter, the angel's presence, and the words he had heard. Khadijah, ever wise and intuitive, comforted him. She reassured him that he was in the path of righteousness, and that Allah would protect him. She wrapped him in her arms and said, "Never fear. By Allah, Allah will never humiliate you. You maintain kinship ties, help the poor, serve guests, and bear the burden of your people with truthfulness." This unwavering support would be the first of many divine protections. The Prophet's humility was profound. He did not seek recognition, power, or prestige. Instead, he accepted the responsibility with a heart full of reverence and trembling awe. Recognizing the gravity of the event, Khadijah, may Allah be pleased with her, advised Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, to seek counsel from Waraqah ibn Nawfal, a Christian scholar familiar with earlier scriptures. Waraqah listened carefully and confirmed what the Prophet had experienced. He said, "This is the same one whom Allah sent to Moses. You have been chosen for a momentous mission. But know, the people will reject you, and you will face trials unlike any before you." Waraqah's validation strengthened the Prophet's resolve. He understood that his mission would not be simple, yet the truth of what he had seen left no doubt. The first revelation was both a blessing and the beginning of immense responsibility. As Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, walked the streets of Makkah, he sensed a profound change. The marketplace, once merely a place of trade, now seemed a theater of moral corruption. Greed, oppression, and idol worship were everywhere. The Qur'an describes this tension, "And warn your closest kindred." Surah Ash-Shu'ara 26, 2-14. The Prophet's heart burned with concern. Though the message had begun in the quiet of Mount Ḥirā, its reach had to extend to his people, starting with those nearest to him. He realized that the path ahead would require courage, patience, and absolute reliance on Allah. The first revelation taught multiple lessons. The power of knowledge. Allah begins by commanding man to read, highlighting the value of learning and understanding. Divine guidance over human authority. True direction comes from Allah, not from tribal pride or societal norms. Responsibility of the chosen. The Prophet's fear is natural, yet his duty is greater than personal comfort. Dependence on Allah. Spiritual reliance, tawakkul, becomes essential for success in the face of adversity. These foundational principles would guide every action, speech, and decision throughout the prophethood. In the initial days after the revelation, Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, was cautious. The Quraysh, though unaware of the divine event, were quick to oppose anything that threatened their economic and spiritual dominance. Allah protected his messenger in subtle ways. He ensured Khadijah's unwavering support. Waraqah's counsel confirmed the truth. The Prophet's character, Al-Amin, had already earned trust that prevented immediate harm. These measures, divinely orchestrated, allowed the early phase of the mission to unfold without direct confrontation, emphasizing that divine wisdom often guides events in unseen ways. From the moment of first revelation, Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, underwent a profound internal transformation. His nights were filled with reflection on the words of Allah. His prayers deepened, his awareness sharpened, and his heart became a mirror for divine guidance. Even the simplest acts, sitting, walking, or interacting with others, were now colored by divine consciousness. The Qur'an would later capture the essence of his mission. Indeed, we have sent it down as an Arabic Qur'an that you may understand. Surah Yusuf 12:2. This was the beginning of not just preaching, but embodying the message. Muhammad's life would now serve as the first living example of the revelation. The first revelation marked the turning point in human history. Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, had entered a covenant with the divine, tasked with conveying the words of Allah to humanity. From the solitary caves of Mount Ḥirā to the bustling streets of Makkah, the mission began quietly, but with unshakable determination. The stage was set for both resistance and triumph, for trials and miracles, for the light that would soon spread beyond Arabia to illuminate the entire world. The next chapter will witness the beginning of public preaching, the early companions, and the first opposition from Quraysh. The era of revelation had begun, and the age of light was dawning over the darkness of ignorance.